With the conclusion of the Big Bang event and the launch of Fortnite Chapter 5, the storyline of Fortnite has been soft rebooted, slightly altering the story. The Big Bang event had us witness the rebirth of the Omniverse and the Zero Point, with it changing the course of many familiar characters' stories along with the islands as well. This season, Fortnite Chapter 5 Season 1 Underground, we are reunited with our favorite blonde ding-dong, John Jones. Despite that, he's no longer the silly guy we all remember. Rather, Jones has greatly matured and even grew in a beard, showing us Jones's development as a character and how much of a toll the Big Bang event has had on him. Now he's known as Vengeance Jones, working together with the founder of the Underground to save Jones's best buddy, Peely. After Jones discovers that Peely was kidnapped by the Society, Jones agrees to join forces with the Underground under the circumstance that they help him save Peely. The plan to kidnap Peely likely devised by the leader of the Society in order to use him as bait for something far more sinister. With the release of Chapter 5, we were introduced to two brand new factions, the Society and the Underground. Both of the factions' leaders being sisters with opposing views, which led to a rivalry between the two factions, with one attempting to destroy the other. Those two sisters being Hope, leader of the Underground, and Valeria, leader of the Society. While Hope is on a mission to defeat the Society and persuade her older sister to change for the better, Valeria disregards her younger sister and is hellbent on achieving an ancient power. In order to achieve that power, she is required to possess great knowledge, which she seems to already be working on, as proven by the Burning Ambition Valeria loading screen and its description. If you've explored some of the Helios Island already, I'm sure many of you have taken notice that there is an unusual amount of objects related to Midas on the island. This map and the story in this chapter also feel oddly familiar to Chapter 2. The Big Bang event took place during Chapter 1, and the end event from 2019 took place in Chapter 1 as well, which led us to Chapter 2. Considering the story has faced a soft/continuity reboot, it wouldn't be too far-fetched to assume that Chapter 5 is basically a Chapter 2.5. There are of course drastic differences between the two as well, but that's the consequence of time being meddled with and the Big Bang playing out differently than the end event. With that in mind, it's quite possible that the mastermind with the golden touch will finally make his grand return this chapter. I mean, Midas's old yacht Marigold is literally back on the island, but this time owned by the Society. Just as important, in the version 28.01 update, we received two reskins of previous characters. One of Eevee, known as Summit Seeker Eevee, and one of the Ageless, known as the Ageless Explorer. There's a lot more than what meets the eye with the Ageless Explorer skin, and it may possibly be showing us Geno's journey into his maddening obsession with perfection. However, with the new chapter and especially a soft reboot of the story come a ton of questions, such as what happened to Jones, who are the Underground, who are the Society, what is Valeria's plan, is Midas finally returning to the story, and who is the Ageless Explorer? We have a lot to unpack with the release of this new chapter, so sit back, relax, and let's uncover the hidden secrets of Fortnite Chapter 5. Before we start with our questions, if any of you were confused by the Big Bang event, I made an entire video covering what happened in the event, so go give it a watch if you'd like. Now let us proceed to the questions. Our first question asks, what happened to Jones? As I'm sure many of you have noticed, Jones looks slightly different in this chapter, both physically and emotionally. Physically, he's grown in a beard, which is unusual because throughout our entire journey with him, starting since Chapter 2 Season 5, he's never chosen to have a beard until now. To me personally, this symbolizes how Jones has greatly matured as a person, especially after the Big Bang event, where he was forced to make a decision in order to save the entire Omniverse over his friend. And as reluctant as he was, Sloan told him and constantly reminded him that he needed to choose to save the entire Omniverse, tying into his personality change as well. If Jones wasn't affected by the Big Bang event and a few of the story alterations, which his cosmetics and other details seem to suggest, he no longer wants to lose any more of his friends, as proven in the Duotone Jones loading screen description. This time, it's not about saving the world, it's about saving a friend. The friend, of course, being Peely, who was kidnapped by the Society for unknown reasons. Although I believe I may know why he was kidnapped and what the Society is truly planning. But before we can get there, we must first understand who the Underground and who the Society are. The Underground are a faction that consists of rebels that defy the Society. Their founder and leader is Hope, who is seen working with Jones in a mission to rescue Peely in the Chapter 5 cinematic. At the moment, the Underground's members consist of Hope, Jones, Peely, Star Oakley, and Steel Sight. Hope is the leader of the rebellion against the society, which happens to be led by her older sister, Valeria. Hope, more than anyone in the Underground, wants to dismantle and defeat the society. However, there's one problem. When you interact with the Steel Sight NPC using the Hope outfit, she tells Hope that she cannot defeat the society if she's too reluctant to take down her own sister. This means Hope still loves her older sister, and her hesitance to defeat Valeria is preventing her from succeeding in her mission of dismantling the society. In another piece of dialogue, when interacting with the Hope NPC, she states that she hopes Valeria will forgive her and perhaps see if she's right. We currently don't know how Hope wronged her sister, but it's clear she wants to rebuild this broken relationship with Valeria. Unfortunately, it seems Valeria may be too far gone, and Hope's only choice will be to gather the courage to face her older sister and defeat her. But as her name indicates, she's still clinging on to Hope. Jones has seemingly joined the Underground after an agreement was made between Hope and Jones. The terms of this agreement are revealed in Hope's NPC description, where Hope agreed to join Jones on his mission to save Peely under the circumstance that Jones is willing to aid the Underground and their rebellion against the society and Valeria. Steel Sight is an old character, all the way back from Chapter 1 Season 3, nearly forgotten by quite literally everyone. Nonetheless, it seems that this chapter is giving her some lore. Steel Sight's friend is Hope, so naturally they are working together. Despite that, it seems Steel Sight has no interest in the rivalry between the Underground and the society, as she stated in her dialogue that it's a family feud she does not want to be a part of. All she does is reside in the Underground and just keeps it a secret from the society. There's a possibility that in the next few months she may get further involved, or maybe not. We'll find out soon. Star Oakley as of now has zero lore. The only information we can base off of her being a part of the Underground is her set name and her clothing style that seems to match the theme of the Underground. Peely's role in the Underground is something I'm a bit unsure about. That's because it seems Jones didn't really get involved with the feud between the society and the Underground until Peely got kidnapped. So I think it's safe to say before Peely was kidnapped, Jones and Peely were just hanging out in the Underground, just like Steel Sight is now, until Peely went missing, making Jones join the Underground to fight the society and find Peely. And that wraps it up for the rebellious faction of the Underground. The Society are a faction that consists of the island's most power-hungry and wealthy people, all related to different European countries. The concept of the Society was introduced to the wealthy people of the island while they were hosting a gathering in the Grand Glacier Hotel by Montague. We know this because of the brilliant cunt Montague loading screen description, which reads, "I present my vision for this island's future, the Society." And as we can all see, the rich people of the island liked the idea and turned it into a reality. Although Montague may be the founder of the Society, he is not the leader. The leader of the Society is the notorious and most powerful boss in the faction, Valeria, Hope's older sister. The Society's bosses consist of Valeria, Montague, Nisha, Oscar, and yes, even Peter Griffin. But just like Cobby Lane was a part of the heist crew in Last Resort, Peter Griffin is also not that important and will likely get discarded of after this season, so don't think about it too much. As previously mentioned, Montague is the founder of the Society who proposed the idea of the faction to the wealthy people of the island, although clearly he was not interested in leadership. Montague prefers thievery, which is why he's a professional thief of the Society. Montague himself is French, owns the Grand Glacier Hotel, and possesses an interesting diamond amulet, one that allows him to manipulate diamonds and that can turn him into pure diamond. We're currently unsure where he got this diamond amulet, but I think it's safe to say that he definitely stole it from someone or someplace. The next two bosses of the Society are Nisha and Oscar. Nisha is the fencer of the Society. She's an Italian who owns Fencing Fields. Fencing Fields is not only her home, but also a flowberry farm, hence the Fields of Flowberries. She had inherited this farm from her family and is seemingly continuing their legacy by using that flowberry to produce magnificent wine. We know this because of Peely popping a bottle of wine known as Flowberry Fizz in the Midnight Duelist Nisha loading screen, and also because the country of Italy is known for their thousands of years of winemaking. Oscar is the latest boss to join the Society. He owns Lavish Lair and is the glorious hunter of the Society. As of now, his ethnicity is unknown and we don't know if his POI was inspired by any European countries like the other boss's POIs were. It's likely he and his POI are not related to any European countries. Nevertheless, Oscar is described as big, bad, and bossy in his music pack, but he's also constantly referred to as a champion throughout his cosmetics. Not only that, he constantly boasts about being the greatest hunter around and that it would be considered foolish to believe that you could escape him. Considering he's a hunter of the Society, there's a possibility he may may have been the one who kidnapped Peely. The champion Oscar loading screen can further back this up, as in a loading screen we can see Peely being held captive by Oscar. Valeria is the notorious leader of the society. She is Greek, possesses the power of fire, and is the owner of reckless railways. Valeria holds the most power amongst all the other bosses in the society because she holds the most knowledge. Although it's still not enough for her, she wants more. She wants to know absolutely everything, as proven by the Burning Ambition Valeria loading screen. She also happens to be the older sister of Hope, meaning Hope is Greek as well. As we learned earlier, Hope somehow wronged Valeria. We currently don't know how she wronged her sister, but it may have played a part in Valeria's conquest for power and craving for knowledge. From what we can assume, Hope and Valeria started off as regular people without any supernatural powers, until of course something went wrong between the sisters and Valeria eventually was able to harness the power of fire. But how? If you take a look at Valeria's back bling, Ruby Relic, you will notice that it looks somewhat like a heart that was cracked and that it is also held in golden claws, those claws being phoenix claws. How do I know that? It's simple. Valeria's banner is an image of a phoenix, her pickaxe is a phoenix, and her music pack cover also has 2 phoenixes on it. It's very likely that once Valeria got her hands on the Ruby Relic, she found a way to harness its power. Not to mention, the description of the back bling is from Valeria's exclusive private collection, meaning it is extremely important to her. So to sum it up, Valeria's Ruby Relic is likely how she got the power of the flame. But don't forget that phoenix, we'll get back to it soon. Going back to the Burning Ambition Valeria loading screen, if we take a closer look at it, you will notice many books and monitors. When you take a look at the monitors right away, you'll recognize 3 things: the 0 point, Jones, and the IO bunker. Then in the middle monitor and in a book, you can see an unfamiliar object. An object that Valeria is very keen on getting her hands on and that will help her accomplish her grand plan. Tying in to our next question, what is Valeria's plan? To understand Valeria's plan, we must first address the society's kidnapping of Peely. I believe that the society's kidnapping of Peely wasn't just for fun or to annoy Jones. There's a far more sinister intention behind doing it, which is all a part of Valeria's plan. We know that Jones is determined to rescue Peely no matter the cost, because he doesn't want to lose another person close to him like he had lost Sloane. Unlike the majority of the characters in the story who have had their stories slightly altered, I believe Jones's was not, and he remembers everything that had transpired before the Big Bang event. That is exactly why the society kidnapped Peely. They know, specifically Valeria, that Jones has the knowledge that she craves and has a soft spot for Peely. What I'm trying to say here is that Peely being kidnapped is to lure Jones to the society by using Peely as the bait. And as soon as Jones is just about to rescue Peely, he'll be confronted by Valeria and forced to tell her everything in order to save Peely's life. This explains why an image of Jones on a monitor can be seen in the Burning Ambition Valeria loading screen. Valeria wants to know everything he knows. Jones had worked for the Imagined Order for centuries and witnessed a lot throughout his long life, meaning he has tons of knowledge. Peely was never the focus, he was just a tool. The real focus is Jones. This knowledge that Jones has can give Valeria an extraordinary amount of power that she needs in order to get what she wants. When looking at Valeria's cosmetics, you will realize that there is a constant reoccurring theme: a moth and a phoenix, 2 important symbols of Greek mythology. The moth represents the souls of the dead in Greek mythology. The phoenix, on the other hand, represents resurrection and most notably immortality, death and resurrection. Valeria is seeking the power of immortality, or she could be seeking the power to bring someone back to life. This may be why she wants to learn everything. However, there's one thing that sticks out like a sore thumb in both Valeria's loading screen and office at Reckless Railways: a box. But it's not just any box, it's the infamous Pandora's box. Let me just break down the story behind Pandora's box. In Greek mythology, basically Zeus created a woman named Pandora. Before he departed Earth, he gave her a box as a gift and explicitly warned her to never open the box. Eventually, curiosity got the better of her and she ended up opening it, releasing all the evils and problems from the box into the world. She quickly closed it, but it was too late. The evil had been unleashed upon the earth and all that was left was hope to comfort mankind. Now, how does this tie to Valeria? Whatever else Valeria is seeking from this box, whether it be the very key that will give her immortality, having all this knowledge and curiosity will ultimately doom her. I theorize that once she gets her hands on the box, she will open it just like Pandora did, and instead of getting this immortality, it will unleash a ton of evils upon the Fortnite Island, and it will be too late to stop by the time she closes it, leaving only one thing in the box: Hope, meaning she will realize the grave mistake she's made and reunite with her sister Hope, and together they will try and fix the mess that Valeria made. Just like Elpis, who in Greek mythology was the personification of hope, left in Pandora's box to help comfort mankind with all the evil existing in the world. All of this is honestly setting up for an extremely amazing storyline between the two sisters and the inclusion of Greek mythology in Fortnite. With all this evil on the island, it's possible that powerful beings from Greek mythology will arrive onto the island to help put an end to that evil. Fortunately, one of those beings, while not as powerful as the rest but still can offer a great amount of help, is a distinguished criminal mastermind, Midas. Making way for our next question, is Midas finally returning to the story? Midas's return to the story has been highly anticipated for the past 3 years, and each time we believed Midas would return, it would turn out that he wasn't returning at all, which is why many have already abandoned all hope of Midas returning to the story. Previous speculations of Midas's return had been based on leaks that turned out to be scrapped, likely because of Donald Mustard's retirement. Vibin was the beginning of Donald Mustard writing out characters from the story for the new CCO, who is now Charlie Wen, to have a fresh slate to start with. It would be pointless to reintroduce Midas in Chapter 3 if characters were being written out, which is why the Midas hand chrome spray was likely scrapped. The same applies for Chapter 4. However, with the release of Chapter 5, speculations of his return have been skyrocketing with the amount of evidence that is beginning to pile up. Let's start with the Chapter 2 props on a little isolated island in the northeast of the main Helios Island. If you take a look around, you will notice many familiar props from Chapter 2. There are 3 that stand out the most, those being a section of props from the agency, props related to Sky, and the final section relating to Meowscles. The fact that these props are Chapter 2 props only and can be found on this unnoticeable little island makes me think that this is not only hinting at the fact that Chapter 5 is in a way a parallel of Chapter 2, but also Midas's long-awaited return. Kinda convenient that 2 factions are currently waging war against each other, just like Chapter 2 Season 2, the exact season in which we were first introduced to Midas. But that's not all. Midas's yacht Marigold has returned on the island, although this time owned by the Society. I theorize that this means Midas may have some involvement with the Society, or there's the possibility that the Society straight up stole the yacht from Midas. Whatever the case is, Midas most certainly must be involved one way or another. Another thing to note is the growing Greek mythology theme in the story with Valeria and Hope. Leakers are also beginning to believe that next season is going to be Greek mythology themed as well. With Midas being a character in Greek mythology, what better of a time than to reintroduce him into the story when it's being heavily influenced by Greek mythology. Last but not least, leakers have taken notice that the Floor's Lava LTM has been updated in the API, now being named Midas Presents Floor's Lava. I mean, if that doesn't convince you on its own, I don't know what will. Only time will tell what will happen next, but things are looking quite good for those who've been waiting for Midas to return to the story. Leaving us with one last question. Who is the Ageless Explorer? The Ageless Explorer has been a survey skin for a while. It was predicted that he would release sometime in Chapter 4, although it turned out we were all wrong when he surprisingly released out of nowhere in Chapter 5. At first glance, many people may just look at the skin and believe it has no lore significance considering it's a reskin, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Let me remind you, this is Geno, the infamous main villain of Fortnite's storyline who got revealed through a comic book series and has yet to show his face in game. Whenever anything Geno related is added to the game, it always means it's important in understanding who Geno is and what his goals are. So who is this variant of Geno? I theorize that the Ageless Explorer is Geno after he moved on from the Oathbound and created his snapshot to rule the Oathbound, giving us the Ageless. The reason I think this is largely because of his set's description and his set name. Let's begin with his set name first. The Ageless Explorer's set name is Dominion's Dusk, opposite of the Ageless's set name, which is Dominion's Dawn. For those who don't know, Dominion means controlling or ruling something. Dawn means light and dusk means dark, but they also mean beginning and end. Both can apply in this situation. Using the Ageless's set name, Dominion's Dawn, it can be inferred that he controlled the light and his reign had just begun over the Oathbound. The Ageless Explorer's set, on the other hand, Dominion's Dusk, can be inferred as Geno controlling the dark and his reign ending in the Oathbound, backing up my theory that the Ageless Explorer is Geno post-Oathbound. Dominion's Dusk can also mean that after Geno left the Oathbound, his descent into madness of wanting absolute genetic perfection had begun. Like I just said, Dusk also means darkness, so it could be that Geno is now beginning to rule the darkness. Despite that, his cosmetics descriptions are very intriguing. The description for the Ageless Explorer reads, "No empire can compare to worlds beyond number." This description refers to the Omniverse, meaning this version of Geno now has his eyes on it. Although his backbling and pickaxe don't refer to the Omniverse, they speak of icy secrets. Now, what are these icy icy secrets? I have no idea, but it's something Geno wants. His pickaxe description reads, command the ice and its frozen secrets. Again, I don't really understand what this whole ice obsession all of a sudden is, but it's there, and I believe we'll learn more about it soon. I theorize that the Ageless Explorer and any other version of Geno that we receive as a skin that's not the real one are meant to show us Geno's journey into what he's become now. It's actually nice to know that Charlie Wen is already getting Geno's lore moving and not waiting till late chapter 5 or chapter 6. Geno's reveal this time seems to be drawing ever so closer, and we should expect a return of the enigmatic leader of the Imagined Order soon. What do you think about this? Are you excited for Geno's debut or still don't believe we'll see him for a while? And that's the entire chapter 5 storyline explained. Thank you all for watching, happy new year, and see you guys in the next one. Take care.